If your perennials looked amazing in June but suddenly seem tired, floppy, or just done, you're not imagining it. And it's probably not the heat. It's not bad luck either. There's one mistake almost every gardener makes in July, and it quietly undoes months of hard work. Your plants aren't dying because gardening is hard. They're struggling because July asks for something completely different than spring did, and nobody tells you that. The good news? Once you see what's actually happening, the fix takes minutes, not hours. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your garden stalls every July and the 9 simple shifts that bring it roaring back. Here's what we're covering today. 9 specific things your perennials need right now, in July, that they didn't need in May or June. This isn't about working harder. It's actually the opposite. Most of these fixes take less effort than what you're already doing. They just need to happen at the right time, in the right way. By the time this video ends, you'll understand exactly why your blooms fade, why some plants flop over, and why others seem to just give up halfway through summer. And you'll know precisely what to do about each one. No guesswork. No complicated schedules. Just simple, calm adjustments that keep your garden thriving straight through fall. If you've ever stood in your garden in July wondering why things looked so much better a few weeks ago, you're in good company. This is one of the most common frustrations gardeners run into, especially if you're newer to it or just don't have hours to spend out there every day. Here on Stress-Free Garden Living, that's exactly our thing. We believe a beautiful garden shouldn't require a green thumb passed down from your grandmother or hours of daily labor. It should work with your life, not against it. So everything we cover today is simple, low effort, and built for real people with real schedules. Before we get into the first fix, I want to tell you about the 9th one, because it's the one almost nobody talks about, and it might be the single biggest reason your perennials stop blooming by August. It has nothing to do with watering, feeding, or even the weather. We'll get there. But first, let's start with the mistake happening in nearly every garden right now, probably yours too. Let's start with the flowers themselves. Look closely at your perennials right now. See those faded, brown, crispy blooms still hanging on? Here's what's happening. Once a flower fades, the plant doesn't just let it go. It starts pouring energy into making seeds. That sounds harmless, but it means all the energy that could be going toward new blooms, stronger roots, or healthier foliage gets redirected into seed production instead. This is deadheading, and it matters more in July than any other month. The fix is simple. Once a bloom fades, snip it off just above the next set of leaves or a healthy bud. Don't just pull the petals, actually cut the stem back. Do this every few days, and you'll notice something wonderful. Many perennials respond by pushing out a fresh round of blooms, almost like they're saying thank you. Picture your garden 2 weeks from now, full again, instead of fading. That's the payoff. Now let's talk about watering, because this is where a lot of well-meaning gardeners actually hurt their plants without realizing it. When it's hot, our instinct is to grab the hose every single day, give everything a quick splash, and move on. It feels productive, but shallow, frequent watering trains roots to stay near the surface, right where the soil dries out fastest. That makes your plants more fragile, not less. What they actually need is deep, infrequent watering. Water thoroughly, less often, so moisture soaks down 6 to 8 inches into the soil. This encourages roots to grow deep, where it's cooler and moisture lasts longer. Picture roots stretching downward instead of clinging to the surface, plants that can handle a hot afternoon without wilting by 2 p.m. The simple action step? Water 2 to 3 times a week, deeply, early in the morning, rather than a light daily sprinkle. Here's a mid-video check-in before we move on. If you're already thinking, I had no idea I was doing this wrong, don't worry, that's completely normal. Almost every gardener learns these lessons the hard way. The difference is, now you know, and the fixes from here are just as simple. Let's talk about something that solves a huge chunk of your July watering problems automatically: mulch. If your perennial beds are bare soil right now, that's a problem, especially in summer heat. Bare soil dries out fast, heats up, and stresses roots. A 2 to 3 inch layer of mulch acts like a blanket. It locks moisture in, keeps soil temperature stable, and even blocks weeds from stealing water and nutrients your perennials need. Picture your soil staying cool and slightly damp even after a scorching afternoon, instead of cracking and drying out. The action step is easy. Spread mulch around the base of your perennials. keeping it a couple inches away from the actual stems so you don't invite rot. Do this once, and it keeps working for you all season. Now, here's a mistake that feels like it should help, but often backfires. Fertilizing with a heavy nitrogen feed in July. In spring, nitrogen fuels lush green growth, which is great. But by July, plants that are pushed to grow fast and leafy become weak, floppy, and more prone to pests and disease. It's like asking someone to sprint a marathon. They'll burn out. Instead, if you feed it all in July, use a lighter, balanced fertilizer, or better yet, skip heavy feeding altogether and let the plant focus its energy on resilience rather than rapid new growth. Picture stronger stems that stand upright through storms, instead of leggy growth that flops over by August. Let's talk about overcrowding, because this one sneaks up on people. If your perennial clumps look crowded, with fewer blooms than last year, or the center of the plant looks bare while the edges are still growing, that's a sign it's time to divide. But here's the nuance. Timing matters depending on the plant. Spring and fall bloomers usually prefer being divided outside of their active blooming window. So for many perennials, late summer or early fall is better than doing it in the middle of July heat stress. The simple action step is to observe first. If a plant is clearly overcrowded, mark it now and plan to divide it once temperatures cool slightly, usually late August through September. This prevents transplant shock during the hottest part of the year. Let's pause here for a common mistake almost everyone makes: treating every perennial the same. Gardeners often follow one watering schedule, one feeding plan, one care routine for their entire garden. But different perennials have different needs, especially in July. The fix isn't complicated, it's simply awareness. Take 5 minutes this week to walk your garden and notice which plants look stressed, which look thriving, and adjust from there instead of applying a blanket routine to everything. Now let's talk pests and disease, because July heat and humidity are basically a welcome mat for two common troublemakers: powdery mildew and spider mites. Powdery mildew shows up as a white, dusty coating on leaves, especially in humid, poorly ventilated spots. Spider mites are tiny, but you'll notice stippled, discolored leaves and fine webbing if you look closely. The key here is early detection. Check your plants every few days, especially in the morning. If you catch either one early, a simple fix like improving air circulation, removing affected leaves, or a gentle insecticidal soap can stop it before it spreads. Picture catching a small problem in its earliest stage, instead of watching it take over an entire plant bed. Next, let's talk about staking, because nothing is more frustrating than a beautiful, tall perennial getting knocked flat by a summer storm. Top-heavy plants, especially ones with big blooms or tall stems, often can't support their own weight once they're in full bloom. The fix is proactive, not reactive. Stake plants early, before they flop, using simple stakes or grow through supports. Picture your tall perennials standing tall and proud through wind and rain, instead of sprawled across the garden bed the morning after a storm. Here's a tip that surprises a lot of people: cutting back leggy growth on purpose. This is sometimes called the Chelsea chop, and while it sounds intimidating, it's incredibly simple. For certain bushy perennials that have gotten tall, floppy, or leggy, trimming back by about a third in early to mid-July can trigger a second, fuller flush of blooms later in the season. It feels counterintuitive to cut back a plant that's already struggling, but this technique redirects energy into fresh, compact growth. Picture a plant that looked done for the season suddenly bouncing back fuller and bushier than before. And finally, a light second feed. After that first big bloom cycle wraps up, many perennials benefit from one light, balanced feeding to support continued flowering through the rest of summer. This isn't the heavy nitrogen boost we talked about earlier, just a gentle, balanced feed that says, keep going, without overwhelming the plant. Now, here's the tip I promised you earlier, and it might be the most overlooked one of all. It's not about what you add to your garden. It's about what you stop doing. So many gardeners treat July like an extension of spring, constantly pruning, feeding, watering on the same aggressive schedule they used in April and May. But by July, your perennials have shifted into a different phase. They're managing heat stress, recovering from their first bloom cycle, and preparing for the second half of the season. Overworking them right now, too much fertilizer, too much pruning, too much fussing, actually adds stress instead of relieving it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simplify. Observe more, intervene less, and let your plants use their energy where it's actually needed. Picture a garden that isn't constantly managed, but calmly maintained, thriving because you gave it exactly what it needed and nothing more. So there you have it, 9 simple shifts that take your perennials from struggling through July to thriving straight into fall. None of this requires hours of extra work. It just requires knowing what your plants actually need during this specific stretch of summer, instead of following the same routine you used back in spring. That's really the heart of stress-free gardening. Not doing more, but doing the right things at the right time. A little deadheading here, deeper watering there, a layer of mulch, and a bit of restraint where it counts. That's the whole formula. If this video helped you see your garden differently, do me a favor and hit subscribe, because we share simple, effortless gardening tips like this every single week, made for real people who want a beautiful garden without it taking over their life. I'd love to know, which of these 9 fixes are you trying first? Or is there one you've already been doing without realizing it was helping? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you know someone whose perennials could use a little July rescue, send this their way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.